Hello, welcome to the channel. As you all know, I am a big Lovecraft fan. Big Lovecraft fan. And I've seen this floated around a few bits and pieces now, but there's more information. So basically we are getting a Lovecraftian horror, Miskatonic U, the Resonator. So it's Miskatonic University. There's a bit more information about it. It's from Full Moon Features. There's not just this article, but there's another article we're going to take a look at. And I just think it's interesting. We're getting a rise of Lovecraft horror, which is fantastic. And it creates the perfect segue for me to tell you about my film that I'm making. I am making a Lovecraftian psychological horror film. You'll find a link to the GoFundMe down below. Really would appreciate if you could support me as an independent filmmaker. And also just support me trying to bring you something cool and something interesting. But that being said, let's dive into it. I've got two articles for you, so it'll be this one and the other one. They're both linked down below. So let's check it out, right? So this is, there's some like pros and cons about this, right? So this one's on Bloody Disgusting, and it's about Miskatonic University. I don't like young adult stuff. I feel you do yourself a big disservice. You know, I just think that there's, you know, it lowers the tone instantly when it's a young adult thing. I'm sure a lot of people have that. I'm not saying ultimately it will be bad. I'm just saying you've got to work harder to win me over. And also many other people. Because when you hear young adult, you're like, ugh, alright, fine. Let's see what this is about then. But you're never like, yes, let's go. A lot of people are always, whatever. So let's sort of give you the background, right? So from the minds that brought you such iconic Lovecraftian horror classics as From Beyond, Re-Animator and Lurking Fear, comes Miskatonic University, the Resonator. Super cheesy, isn't it? The Resonator. And I hope they don't go too cheesy with it. Now, Full Moon Pictures' ongoing horror science fiction feature film series inspired by both the works of legendary fiction writer H.P Lovecraft and beloved genre director Stuart Gordon, Bloody Disgusting, learned today. The Miskatonic University series is set in the fictional college campus, Miskatonic University in Arkham, Massachusetts, where all sorts of fantastic and unworldly events have been known to unfold in Lovecraftian lore. Miskatonic University, the Resonator, follows, and here we go, here's where you start to go, whatever. 6 gifted students, uni kids, as they navigate life after one of them, Crawford Tillinghast, builds a machine known as the Resonator. And you hear that and you go, that sounds cool. Meh. Doesn't look particularly great, does it? Again, I'm of the opinion that Lovecraft deserves more than just cheese, basically. And this sounds a lot like cheese, which is a bit of a shame. But anyway, there are some pros to it, of course. So it's basically Crawford builds this resonator, and the machine allows one to experience multiple dimensions while navigating the unsavory beasts that dwell within them. But things get complicated when Tillinghast realizes that the prototype of his creation has not only released murderous and deadly creatures into his world, but also has affected his own reality. That does sound interesting. I'm sure we can all agree that does sound interesting, does it not? Charles Band of Full Moon Features has created the series along with writer-director William Butler, who did Madhouse, Furnace, Demonic Toys 2. Nothing particularly of note, to be honest. And Miskatonic University, the Resonator, will go into production in Los Angeles in early December. It promises to feature plenty of the sort of gooey, practical special makeup effects that served as the hallmark of Band and Gordon's collaboration. So, if you like, you know, From Beyond, Re-Animator and things like that, and you don't think they're too cheesy, then expect a modern version of it. Maybe. You know? But also feature cameos and performances from many of the original cast members that have long been associated with Gordon and the films from Brand's Empire Pictures universe. Now that's where it starts to fall apart. It's like, are you just going to have cameos then? You're just bringing people back for member berries of 80s films and, you know, things like that. It's just, that part makes me go, well, you're lowering my expectations even further. And that's a shame. Now, there was a statement here by Band. And he said, after working side by side with Stuart on From Beyond and many other subsequent genre productions, it is a complete honour and privilege to be able to bring to life a project that is inspired by his brilliant mind and passion for the work of H.P Lovecraft. We're very excited to be embarking on this ambitious and reverent entertainment. Reverent, again, it just, Jasper's here. Even he's a little bit iffy about it. Do you know what I mean? It just makes me go, oh, that's a bit of a shame. Bit of a shame. And again, these images don't inspire the greatest of confidence either. I'm sure we can all agree on that. Looks like you did it in MS Paint, mate. You know? But anyway, there was a little bit of an update. So, this was an exclusive to comicbookmovie.com, and they spoke with them, basically. So, this was on a big interview, but we'll just sort of go and paraphrase it all and just sort of go through the quotes bit by bit. So, Charles Band came out and stated that everyone's been asking me that because they're hilarious, and people have been enjoying them. So, basically, the question was, are there any more plans for Barbie and Kendra in the future? Not, too much to kind of go into, but they go on to say, right, it all depends on the next event that we can make fun of or introduce the girls to. It's got to be tied to something current that people are talking about, but not politics, because that's never been my thing. We'll see what happens next in the world. For now, we have an aggressive slate to the core of Full Moon features that people will recognise as inspired by the movies I've made since the 70s and from the 80s. For example, we announced that we're doing the first instalment of 8 shows, and I don't know how we are going to do them all. It's called Miskatonic University, the Resonator. It's a Lovecraftian inspired idea, borrowing somewhat from Beyond, one of the movies I made in the 80s with Stuart Gordon, and I made Re-Animator and From Beyond, so this is a good product. Alright. Miskatonic University, the Resonator, was worked on by Billy Butler, a super talented dude who wrote and directed it. This will be the first of 18 movies we have planned, which seems insane. We'll be making 2 a month. What? 2 a month? That does not bode well. We'll be making 2 a month, starting at the beginning of January. Everything will be across the spectrum: puppet movies, doll movies, haunted movies, Harlequin romance movies, everything. If you think of the work of Empire and Full Moon, we're going back to everything that we enjoyed the most, that have stood the test of time. Miskatonic University is just one of them. Lovecraft created a fictitious university in a lot of his works called Miskatonic University. Even though there are no Lovecraft story columnists, Miskatonic University is part of the Lovecraft lore. If this does well, or any of these 18 shows do well, and fans think it's cool, we're setting them up so we can go back and make sequels. Okay, alright, we'll see. We have a great character from one of the Puppet Master movies that will headline in a film, much like we did with Blade without revealing it. We are tapping into everything that I feel we've done pretty well over the years. Some of these are original ideas, but hopefully they always feel like they're either an Empire movie or a Full Moon movie. As an example, years ago I directed a film called Meridian, which with Sherilyn Fenn, that was a Harlequin romance of Beauty and the Beast. It's not similar to Radian, but it's another Harlequin romance, a haunted ghost story with a little dose of romance, love and sex. So anyway, they go on and bang on about, a little bit more of what to expect and things like that, significant cult following, Re-Animator, etc. And they just, again, it's that whole, we're going to be doing a lot of them too. There's a lot they're making. There is a lot they're making. It's quite concerning how much they're making, actually. So he says, the way we will... So basically, that's a big undeserved audience who would like the movie. Without revealing what we are doing, an offshoot character from the evil Bong franchises will have his own film. Like, alright, fine. The way we will release these is that they are all being prepared and shot as 2-parters. We find that 60% of the people watching our movies on both streaming sites are watching them on their phones, and their attention span is less. These will start... So they're making films for people with low attention spans. That's not good. That's a really bad sign. These will start coming out at the end of January or early February. It'll be satisfying to watch that half hour with a little bit of a cliffhanger and then be able to watch the second episode the following Friday. We will shoot 2 a month, therefore we'll be releasing those 2 in 4 installments. Once we get caught up with production, each one will have a 2-parter. So they're literally making films for low attention spans. Fuck me. It's the PAG generation, guys. It is the PAGs. PAG life. We hope that we'll be making movies like all those early 80s until the mid 90s cool movies that we look back at as great independent horror films. They would never have happened if the world was only a theatrical release world like it was in the 60s and 70s. It happened because of the direct-to-video world, where you can make a movie, and if it were halfway decent, thousands of video stores would put it on their shelves, and people would go and discover movies at their local video store. Think of any movie from the 80s and 90s that is cool. Those movies would not have been made if the world was only major studios back then. Okay. So what do you guys think of this? Good or bad? Let me know down below in the comment section. I think this is a shame, but also I'm sort of curious and sort of looking forward to it. But let me know your thoughts down below. I don't think this is like bang up great news, but let me know. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I've been Mr. H. Also, support my film. I've been Mr. H. Take care.